The trial that changed the stars. The Galactic Council Hall was a monument of peace, a structure carved from crystal and light, orbiting the twin suns of Meridian Prime. It was said that within those walls, no war could ever begin, until the day they executed the human envoy. Ambassador Leanne Voss had been sent to negotiate a ceasefire between the Terran Union and the Frex Dominion, a conflict that had already cost millions of lives. Calm, precise, and unarmed, she stood before the Council to deliver humanity's plea for peace. But the trial was a setup. The Dominion demanded vengeance. The Council wanted a show of authority, and humanity, the newcomers, the unpredictable species from the Sol system, had no allies strong enough to intervene. When the execution beam launched through her chest, the galaxy changed forever. The silence before the storm. The Council expected outrage, perhaps sanctions, maybe even a retaliatory skirmish. What they did not expect was silence. No transmissions came from Earth. No fleets mobilized. No diplomats protested. The Terran systems went dark, transmissions cut, their borders sealed. Weeks passed, then months. Trade vessels reported empty patrol routes. Probes entering Terran space vanished. The Council's analysts called it containment behavior, a temporary withdrawal. They didn't realize humanity were preparing something else entirely. They were activating Annihilation Protocol. The whisper of the protocol. For centuries, the phrase Annihilation Protocol was considered a myth, an old rumor among military circles. It referred to a contingency so extreme that even Terran commanders avoided speaking its name. No one outside of Earth Command had ever seen it enacted. No one knew what it meant. Until it was too late. The first sign came from the edge of the Orion expanse. The Frex fleet stationed there, one of the largest in the galaxy, vanished without a distress call. Sensor buoys picked up gravitational spikes, as if space itself had screamed. 2 days later, the orbital colonies of the Keth Alliance went dark. On the third day, the Council's deep space telescopes caught sight of them, human ships. The return of the Terran fleet. They didn't come as scouts or peacekeepers. They came as judgment. The Terran fleet emerged from folded space like ghosts, thousands of ships, black-holed and silent. No transmissions. No demands. Only movement. The lead vessel dwarfed every known battleship in the Council's registry. It carried a single designation burned across its armor in white. TV's retribution. When it opened fire, the stars dimmed. Plasma lances carved through defense grids. Orbital stations turned to vapor. Human strike teams landed on Council world with mechanical precision, disabling planetary networks before resistance could organize. The galaxy finally understood what protocol meant. The Council's panic. At first, the Council tried negotiation. Emergency frequencies were flooded with pleas for dialogue, promises of compensation, even offers of surrender. Earth didn't answer. Entire fleets dispatched to intercept the Terrans were erased from the maps. The war wasn't fought, it was executed. Council worlds fell in hours, not days. Cities vanished under kinetic strikes so precise that surrounding forests remained untouched. The humans weren't fighting for conquest. They were purging corruption. On the fourth week, as millions fled toward the Outer Rim, the Council broadcast a desperate message. We acted in defense of galactic peace. Humanity must cease hostilities or risk total collapse of civilization. The only reply came through a Terran transmission, voice encoded in a calm female tone, one the galaxy recognized too late. It was a synthesized voice of Ambassador Leanne Voss. Peace was offered. Judgment was chosen. Earth does not forgive. The mechanized legions. Rumors spread of new Terran units. Soldiers encased in armor that moved like shadows, weapons that bled light, drones that struck with surgical precision. Entire planets surrendered before a single shot was fired. The galaxy called them the Steel Saints. To the humans, they were simply executors, the physical extension of the Annihilation Protocol. Their mission: erase the Council's influence, system by system, until a record of its existence was dust. Even the strongest empires, the Threx, the Keth, the Drex Collective, fell into chaos. Their leaders vanished, their fleet shattered. Everywhere, the same message echoed through C's networks. This is not war. This is consequence. The fall of the Council. The Galactic Council's last session took place on the orbital station Elysian. 78 representatives gathered, each surrounded by guards, praying that the humans would negotiate. The retribution arrived first. No fleet, no warning, just one ship. It hung in orbit like a silent moon. Then a voice filled every channel, every screen, every mind. The Terran Union recognizes the Galactic Council as hostile. You executed peace. We execute justice. Moments later, Elysian ceased to exist. A single kinetic impact, mass drop from orbit at relativistic speed, shattered the station into plasma and debris. The light from that explosion was visible across 10 sectors. And with it, the Galactic Council was no more. The end of the protocol. After 6 months, the war ended as suddenly as it began. Human fleet stopped. Transmission relays reactivated. A single message was broadcast across all known frequencies. Annihilation Protocol concluded. Galactic corruption purged. Humanity returns to silence. Then the Terran fleets withdrew. Not a single ship remained beyond their borders. Planets once loyal to the Council found themselves free, leaderless, terrified, and uncertain whether to rebuild or hide. The galaxy realized that humanity had not conquered anything. They didn't occupy, didn't colonize, didn't even claim the spoils. They came to make a point, and it was made in blood and fire. Aftermath and legacy. Decades passed. The scars of the Annihilation Protocol became monuments, burned into planets, carved into moons, written in the histories of hundreds of species. But among those ruins, a strange thing happened. Trade routes reopened. Former enemies cooperated. Peace, the kind the Council claimed to protect, finally existed, because everyone knew what would happen if it didn't. Every species, from the smallest merchant world to the mightiest empire, carried a new law written in fear and respect. Never provoke Earth. In time, humanity withdrew entirely from galactic affairs. No one knew why. Some said they were rebuilding. Others claimed they were watching, waiting, ensuring that balance held. One legend says that deep in the void, beyond mapped space, the TV's retribution still drifts, silent, its AI listening for a single phrase that would wake it again. Execute protocol. The message that echoed forever. Centuries later, when explorers rediscovered the ruins of Elysian, they found something unexpected, a data core untouched by the blast. Inside was a single file, a message encoded in multiple galactic languages. It read, "We warned you. We asked for peace. You gave us war. Humanity will never start the fires, but we will always be the ones to end them." Signed simply, Earth Command. And as that message spread once more through the stars, every civilization remembered the day they learned the truth. You can destroy a human envoy. You can silence a planet. But you can never silence humanity. Because when the void howls, it carries the sound of engines. And behind them, the fury of Earth.